Hey guys, welcome back to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and it's 4 days after the bash. Today's Wednesday, so I'm just now getting my voice back. I was talking in an elevated tone for at least 4 or 5 days, getting set up, yelling across the compound and doing things, so my voice is just now coming back to me. I've been busy here getting Raffle stuff ready to ship out. Some of these I have to play Dick Tracy. Some of you guys didn't have the right addresses on your PayPals. So I got to go back through emails, and hopefully you put phone numbers on your emails and I can contact you and get your stuff out to you. I've got some prizes some people still bought from out of the country, so I've got a couple internationals, and we got to work out some shipping with the international guys to get your prizes to you. But we are getting this stuff out. It doesn't happen super fast. So it doesn't do any good to send me an email and say, did I win something? Did I win something? We're working as fast as we can here, and I hope to have it all done by the end of the week. And then the raffle was pretty successful. As you know, this was our first year without Dale Derry, who usually runs a raffle. And during the live feed, you probably saw that I got the raffle started, and then relied on everyone else to kind of follow my lead as I couldn't stay there all day. So I think Chris and the Hotshot Oven guys did a pretty good job of running the raffle, and I appreciate them coming out. And I just wanted to go through our sponsors, thank everybody. The bash doesn't happen without all these people, and I'm gonna be missing a bunch of people. First up, we're just gonna talk about honorable mentions. First up, we're gonna talk about Andrew from the Tool Miser, who supplied the PA out here to the grounds. If you were here on the grounds and you were able to hear us, what we're talking about, if we're calling someone up or whatever, that was courtesy of him. And he brings all his equipment. He owns all his own equipment, and he comes out, sets up every year a couple days early, and gets speakers all over this. We're sitting on about a little over an acre, so we've got sound all over the place, so everyone can hear us. So I sure appreciate Andrew. Rick, he's a local basher. He's one of my guys that comes over and just works his butt off before the bash every time. Rick, you know who you are, and I sure appreciate everything you do for me. The other one's Dudley Toolwright, also known as Robert Whitecamp. He always comes out a weekend ahead of time and helps me clean up because my shop is always a wreck. We have to go from working mode into bash mode, and then we have to switch it right back when bash is over. So all my day-to-day working tools and materials and things like that have to get stowed, and then all the bash stuff comes down. So appreciate those guys. Another basher, which is not local. He comes all the way over from from the Phoenix area. That's Phil over at Almost Machining. He's such a great guy, and he's so willing to help, and everything he does is so I consider him now. This is the second year he's done an awful lot for me, and I consider him a basher. And I guess he could be considered local. He's only a few hundred miles away. So Phil, thank you. The other one is James Clow. He took away from his party time and his mingle time to run the four-jaw competition. He was our judge, and I sure appreciate James for what you do. And maybe we'll try to find someone else next year if you're not up to it. If you want to mingle and swap meat and do different things, there's just so much going on all in tandem here that there's no way to cover it all. The other one is Joe Piesinski. He flies all the way in from Austin, Texas, and he spends his day on the mill maze. And he loses some mingle time. It's kind of neat though too, because people can come in, compete on the mill maze, and they get their Joe Pie time, and they get their James Clow time. They get to be up close, chit chat with them a little bit, during their competition. And I think it might be good for the viewers, but probably not so good for the judges. Another one of my locals is Brent Anderson. He's just a few doors down, and he'll do anything for you, and he just works his butt off. And he's a great guy, and I appreciate everything he does. Another local is Greg France, or if I was Christopher Feeble, I would say Greg Francais. But it's just plain old Greg France. Super great guy, lives right down the road, and always willing to help. So those are all my locals and not so locals, but I consider all these guys bashers. As far as bash sponsors go, I'm going to run down the list. This is in no particular order, but I'm going to talk about each one of them just a little bit. The Hot Shot Oven Company, Chris over there, he was kind of your main MC. You know, I took the mic a little bit in the morning, and I had a little bit of time to run around and talk to some people. But after that, I just kind of gave it up to him, and he ran the show. We missed Dale Derry this year, but I think Chris was a pretty good substitute. But the Hot Shot Oven Company, they did an awful lot for us this year, and we appreciate them. Next up is Lincoln Electric. That's Britt over there and Jim Bollinger. You know, they did the seminar on Friday for us. We aired that on a live feed, and then they did the hands-on, which is very difficult to film. You know, there's a lot of AC high frequency going on over there, and they were really crowded, and people are heads down, elbows out, learning how to weld, actually doing it. So that's difficult to film, but we did run that all day Saturday. Char's Tool Company, Rich over there. You know, the raffle is brought to you by Char's Tool. You know, about 80% of that stuff that came rolling through there was from Char's, and they've got some really nice products. And if you know, when you buy from Asian tool companies, it's a crapshoot. But you know, Char's stands behind everything. If you're not satisfied, they'll make it right. Period. So Char's, awesome, and thank you very much. Another one that's been rock steady with us throughout this whole COVID lockdown thing has been the Engineer's Black Book. They just keep coming back year after year after year. And Reen is a great guy. He had a little display here, and I guess you saw in the raffle, we gave away a ton of those black books. Very handy reference guide. Keep it in your shop. They've got nice pages. They don't get kinked easy. They don't get handprints on them, but great books. Next up was Emmett over at Diamide Clamps. I am a personal user of Diamide Clamps. I use them on my conveyor jobs for I-beams and things like that. You know, when we've got a lot of clamping to do, we choose Diamide. I've been through the whole vice grip thing. I've been through the whole regular Johnson type screw clamps, but we prefer Diamide. And I try to present products to you guys that I personally would use. I'm not going to just be a peddler for some junk that comes down the road. So Diamide's good stuff. And this is the same with all of them. These are all products I would stand behind and use. Next up is Rosenthal products. If you didn't see the Rose Index, we had some on display here. We gave some away. But Tim over there came and set up for us and demonstrated his product. And we raffled some off, and people bought some off his table. So we thank Tim for that, and go check all these guys out. Next up was Empire Abrasives. You know, we gave away an awful lot of flap discs and combo packs and things we made up, as well as some carbide burrs and different things that are over at Empire Abrasives. I'd like to thank Mike over there. We've got discount codes for all this stuff. If you look back on my feed, or actually it's not my feed, I think it's my community tab. Go to my main page, find the community tab. I did one big dump of discount codes. So it's just a discount dump from the bash. So go check that out. Next up is Fireball Tool. You know, Jason even came down this year, which was pretty cool. He got to get out in front of the camera, answer a few questions, talk about his plans for his channel. He's got a really popular channel and does some really cool stuff. So we thank Jason for the donation to the raffle and, you know, getting up and speaking for a little while. Next up is Springer Industrial. Now, in the morning, I tried to get over there and talk to Dante over at Springer. Springer Industrial is a spray equipment company, and they're a personal acquaintance of mine from my regular work. And these guys sell, you know, big equipment, spray booths and ovens and things like that, but they also have application equipment, which I am not an expert on that, but Dante is. And Springer was nice enough to send over Dante with some of his spray equipment, probably larger than the home shop guy would have. But from what I talked to him a couple times, we had a couple guys that talked to him. One of them was Edward over at Anderson Boats. You know, he has some fiberglass application needs, and he talked to Dante over there. So anytime you have an application problem or an application question, contact the guys at Springer Industrial and they'll fix you up. They also provided a few raffle prizes for us, which were smaller, which wasn't large industrial equipment. It was a 3M spray gun AccuSpray, which is a nice kit. They supplied us with the Micarta European-made palm sander, and then the little 3M belt sander. So any of you guys that won that, congratulations. And those are courtesy of Springer Industrial. Next up, our swap meet was brought to you by Evolvent Design. Andrew over there. Andrew runs the gear cutting class before the Summer Bash, and he was responsible for the swap meet. So all that mayhem that was going on out there, we can blame him. Andrew, we love you. Next up is Precision Matthews. They gave us a milling machine to give away this year. The winner of that was Jim Bollinger, which was incredible. And I'll tell you something else that's funny. His wife, everyone that enters gets, enters the bash gets a name tag. And on your name tag, we punch your name tag, and you get 2 free raffle tickets with your entry. And those are red raffle, and that's, that you can focus your tickets on the milling machine. So she put only 2 tickets, free tickets, into that drum, and I guess you saw on the live feed that Chris pulled the name out, and he said "do right," and we were just all floored because there were some people really gunning for that milling machine. They would spend $100, $200 and put every single ticket in that drum. They really, really wanted it, but Michelle Bollinger won it technically on her free tickets. So that was a long shot and great moment. Anyways, go back on the live feed and check that out. But back to Precision Matthews. We thank Matt out there. He's so good to us every year, and this is a tough time for everybody, for shipping and supply chains and the cost of shipping and the delays and things like that. These are Taiwanese high precision machines that Matt orders, and they're having trouble getting stuff in. So for him to stay a sponsor through this is tough. So we really appreciate you guys. Next up is Noga. Avi over there. A lot of you guys in your gift bags, you saw a lot of Noga stuff, little deburring tools and the pens and the flyers and things like that you got in your gift bags. Those are all courtesy of Noga, and we always appreciate Avi over there. And Noga makes such a great product, all Israeli made. Next up is Seco Niagara, which is Dennis over there. He's the one that supplied all the solid carbide end mills and the insert tooling and things like that. And they sent out a nice selection this year for both raffles, for red and blue. Dennis just teaches so well every year. And from what I understand, this is the last year for the 5-pack combos. Those little 3/8 combo packs, and I'm going to miss those personally. I've still got one set I got here a couple years ago that Dennis gave me, and I'm going to miss those little 5-packs because they're popular. Next up, James Harrell Design. He's the one that did all the bash artwork, which would be the T-shirts and the banners and all the stuff like that. Go visit him at jamesharrelldesign.com, and it's James. So if you want to throw him an email or whatever, contact him over on his website and fill out a contact card. And last but not least is VX Production. The live feed was brought to you by VX Production. This is Brian over there, and he always just does a wonderful job. This is his 3rd year at the Bash, but it's his 2nd year, putting on the live stream for me. And he does a great job. What they typically do, they're used to static subjects, which means a guy standing there just like I'm standing in front of you now, point a tripod at him, stick a mic on him, and you're good. So he was static. And now I've asked him to be dynamic, which means I grab a mic and I start wandering around. And Brian rose to the occasion. Probably about the first hour of the feed, I got the opportunity to just walk around and talk to some people, and we were never able to do that before. So having that ability is huge. And I've gone back and watched the live feed. The sound was good. The video quality was good. I think we got a real winner here, and I sure appreciate Brian for everything he does. And we're inviting him back next year for sure. So Brian at VX Production is my go-to. Go check him out at vxproduction.com. That's about it. I've had a few. We all, there's always the negative people out there, and a lot of people called out, rigged when different people won something like Bollinger winning that milling machine. Not rigged. People that are here can attest to that. We don't rig anything. We don't have any favoritism towards any YouTubers. I do allow YouTubers to play Raffle, but if they're playing Raffle, their hand doesn't go in that drum ever. So whatever drum we pick from has to be an uninterested party, which would be me always, because I don't play any of the contests. And then in Jim's case, it was Chris from American Rotary, because he had no interest in that drum. He didn't have a single ticket in there, so we let him stick his hand in there and pull it. But that is the house rules. If you have any interest in that particular drum or that particular raffle, you don't stick your hand in that drum. You can handle prizes, you can call out names, whatever, but you don't pull that ticket. And that's just house rules, and that's just a huge conflict, so we don't do it. All right. God, those are my thank yous. I don't know what else to say. I appreciate everyone that attended, everyone that watched, everyone that commented on the channel. I think I got one super chat, and that was Scott and Tara. Appreciate you guys out there. Thanks for the super chat. We didn't really interact a lot with the people in chat during the event. It was just general chit chat, and it looked like the chat was pretty well behaved to me. And you guys just kind of talked amongst yourselves. You didn't really need us. But I hope you enjoyed the show. And we're going to compile some other videos together. I'm going to take the main feed from last Saturday and chop it up and put in just the 4-jaw. And so you'll have one video, all 4-jaw. And then we're going to take and chop it up and do all Raffle. So the video will be all Raffle. So we're going to take and piecemeal it, because a lot of people aren't going to want to sit there and watch a 7-hour long video. All right, so that's coming up in the future, and I appreciate everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next year.